Okay, today we're going to talk about setting up Active Directory authentication with IBM Verify SaaS. Today we're going to build out a Azure Windows Server virtual machine. We're going to install Active Directory, set up a forest, promote it to a domain controller. Then we're going to install the Windows Bridge client, which runs actually on the server. And then we'll configure it to IBM Verify. We'll map some attributes, and then we'll go through AD authentication with Verify. All right, so here I am. I'm in Active Directory, Azure, and I'm going to create a VM. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go to Create Virtual Machine, and I'm going to name it AD Server 3. You can call it whatever, and I'm using US region, no infrastructure redundancy. I don't need the trusted, need the basics. It says images. I'm actually going to pick the 2022 Data Center Azure Edition hot patch, so I'll select that. You can pick if you want to size up or down. That's up to you. That's the size I'm using. I'm going to pick a username, which I always use the same. Put the password in here. I'm going to need the RDP, so I need that port to be open, so it's going to be open. So I'm going to do a review and create, and it's going to do this validation check. So it passed. So I'm simply going to, here's some information if you want to review it. Pretty basic stuff. Click Create, and it's going to go through the process of deploying a VM. Okay, so we'll go to Resource. We'll go to Connect. Okay, we got a public IP address right here. We'll need that for later. Go ahead and hit Select. And we can download the RDP file. I'm on Mac, so I'm using the Microsoft Remote Desktop that I downloaded from the App Store. You may have to do that. So if I click download, it'll open the file. I'll put my username in, and we'll put our password from the configuration that we did earlier. We'll click Connect, Continue. Okay, it's booting up. So it's going to load Server Manager. We may fast forward a little bit through here, but let's give it a second to set up. Do you want to allow your PC to be discoverable? No, we don't need any of that, so we'll hit No. Okay, it's still setting up. You'll see this. So this is Server Manager. It's still actually loading some stuff here. And we're going to go to Manage, Add Roles and Features. It's probably not going to work because it's still setting up, so we'll give it just a sec. Okay, so now we have 3 boxes here, so it's ready to go. I'll hit Add Roles and Features. So, roles, features here. Just leave all this default. We'll hit OK. We're going to install Active Directory Domain Services. Include management tools. Make sure that's checked. Hit Add Features. Go ahead and hit Next. 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 And then Install. So we'll sit while it goes through the installation process. Okay, next we want to do promote this server to domain controller. And then we will click add new forest. We'll call it verify. Call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it verify.local. Oops. Local. Actually, I'm going to, yeah. And then we'll hit next. Okay, don't need to do anything here except for put in a password. I just always use the same password. Okay, hit next. Don't need any of this DNS stuff. It's going to populate the NetBIOS with your verified domain normally. Yep. Next. 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 Now it always has these prerequisite checks that it comes up with, and it always spits a bunch of stuff out here. I never have a problem. It says all this stuff, but I just click install and move on. See, the prerequisite check passed, so I just hit install. Okay, it's going to restart after it's done all the installs. Close. So we'll close this out. It's doing it anyway, so I don't have to do anything. Okay, so let's just kind of recap what we did. We spun up a Windows 2022 virtual machine. We have a public IP address there assigned to it. We installed Active Directory domain services. We set up a forest called verify.local, and then we promoted it to a domain controller. And then we went ahead and applied it all, and now it's rebooted, or is currently rebooting itself. So we'll go back into our 80 server. See if we can get back in. It's probably still coming up. Continue. Continue. Oops. Must put the password in wrong, or it didn't come up yet. Let's wait a sec. Okay, let's try it again. All right, here it comes. Okay, booting up. Good. So we'll close this out. Go ahead and close that out. We'll go to Start. You'll see under Windows, do a couple of things. First, we'll go to Services. We'll need that, so I'll right-click and go to Pin to the taskbar. So we'll put it down here because we're going to need that later. So we'll delete that. Windows Admin Tools. I can come down to users and computers. That means Active Directory is here now. So we'll open Active Directory. There's old Active Directory. There's our forest, verify.local. There's our users. Here's all the users. So we'll create some users here in a little bit. Let's go out to Microsoft Edge. And we're going to go download the Bridge client that is on the IBM App Exchange. All right, start without data. No, I don't need all this. Continue without data. Garbage, come on. Okay, so we'll go to IBM App Exchange. Let's find it right here. So go to the Exchange. We're going to log in. It requires you to log in if you want to download anything. So we'll go ahead and log in with our account, Kurt Riley at IBM.com. Okay, we'll log in with, I wonder if I can do W3 credentials. Hope I remember my password. Okay, oops, yep. Password is what? Maybe that? Maybe? Oh, let's try again. Okay, got it. Logged in. Okay, it wants me to do multi-factor. Alright, so I'm going to do multi-factor on my phone. Hit approve. Okay. That's approving, so it's going to let us into the IBM App Exchange. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select Verify Identity just to filter. Oops. Okay, there it is, IBM Security Verified Bridge. So I'll click on that. I'll go to download. Okay, it's downloading. I'll open file. Again, I'm going to have to click it. It's going to extract and unzip. So I'll extract it in that same spot. There, it's been extracted. Now I'm going to run the installer. So here we go. We run the installer on this machine. Yep, English. Install. Accept the terms and conditions. Next. Next. Install. Okay, so here's the configuration. https:// mine is rileydemo.ice.ibmcloud.com. I don't have the application or the API client ID in secret yet because I haven't set up the configuration in Verify. So let's go over to Verify. So I'll go to my tenant, rileydemo.ice.ibmcloud.com, and I'll log in with an admin account. So Kurt Riley and then my password. I'll log in with that. Got it. Continue. I'm using a weak password for the moment. Push notification because I have a policy turned on for my portal login. Just waiting for it to show up on my phone. There it is. Hit approve. Okay, I just approved it. Okay, I'm on my dashboard here, Launchpad. I'm going to go over and switch to admin. And I can set up as many authentication sources as I want. I can use multiple Active Directories or whatever. So I'm going to go to Integrations, Identity Agents, and you see I've already got one configured. I don't have it running. So I'll go ahead and hit Configure Agent for Authentication. It's going to be LDAP. We'll hit Next. Now, so copy this. So I don't have a DNS name. I just have an IP. So I'll do LDAP. Actually, we'll do LDAP :/:. Now, what's my IP address? I need to minimize this. It's right there. So 52.159.109.48, in this case 389. Okay, so that's good. Next, I have to, let's make this bigger if we can. I need to add the base DN. What is the base DN? I have no idea. Well, here's how you can look it up. If you type CMD, you can run this command, dsquery space user, okay, minus name, space, in this case, the user I used to set all this up was X96Riley3, so it'll give me the full distinguished name. So that's the full distinguished name right there. So where do my users exist? Right here. I don't think I can copy it, but is there a way to copy, edit, copy? Paste the base DN in there. There you go. That's the base DN. Now, I don't have a bind ID because I haven't created one yet, so we're going to go create one in Active Directory. This is the ID that binds, that Verify uses to talk back to Active Directory. So if you remember earlier, we had opened Active Directory. Here's Active Directory, and let's create a bind ID. So we'll go right here to this icon, create a new user, and I'm going to call it LDAP bind. oops, sorry about that. BIND, we'll just call it that, and then we'll just make it LDAP BIND. That's it, LDAP bind, all caps, or lowercase, whatever, call it whatever you want. Password, we'll make it something easy. This is just for testing purposes. We'll select that, and then we're good to go. We'll click Next, and we'll click Finish. There's my LDAP bind ID user, right? So I'll come back in here, and then my bind ID will be, actually what you want to do, you want to put your full bind ID. So if you go to View, Advanced Features, that'll show you everything, and then click Users. And when you go to this bind ID, you want to right click and go to Properties. And then you can go to, what's another, Attribute Editor. Scroll down, there's the full bind ID for that user. Right there. So CN equals LDAP bind, CN equals users. Users verify local. So CN equals LDAP bind, comma, was it capital CN? Oh man, where'd that go? I think it has to be capital CN. It'll make everything capital. CN equals LDAP bind, CN equals users, comma, DC equals verify, comma, DC equals local, I think is what it was. We'll double check it. Don't want to get this wrong. So, properties. Yep, verify local, users. I don't know why services came up. So verify LDAP bind, CN equals LDAP bind, comma, CN equals users, comma, DC equals verify, comma, DC equals local. Looks good. Okay, so I'll type in the password, put in the password, and then I'll click next. You don't have to mess with this. We'll map these, all these account names we'll map later, or in a minute. We'll map them right now. So okay, so we'll go to display name. All right, we're going to map that to display name. Display underscore name, add attribute, mail. And then that's going to map to mail or email. I think it's email. And then mobile maps to mobile number. We'll do given name. We will map this to given. Okay. We'll do SN. We're going to map that to family. Then we do the SAM account name. SAM account name, and this is going to map to user. No, there wasn't a username. There we go. There's the mappings. I'll just hold it so you can see them clearly. Okay, we'll click next. Agent name. So what do we want to call this thing? Active Directory. This is my number 2 Active Directory. And then how do we want to display that name on the login? So Active Directory number 2 login. Because I have more than one directory and more than one login. What didn't it like? The value entered is invalid. Oh, it must not like the number 2. That's fine. Oh, I don't like it number 2 there either. So we'll take the pound sign out. There we go. Okay, we happy? Realm, we'll just call verify. And that's it. We'll hit save and continue. Now we have our client ID and secret, so I'll click copy. And I'll go to our install, and I'll paste the client ID. I'll go back and I'll copy the secret, go back to our install, place the password, hit next. Now, it has a log file. Say I want tracing enabled. I want to look at that bridge.log file. If I have any problems, I need to look at that. Hit next, and then hit finish. And then hit finish over here. Okay, so we should be just about there. There's my AD configuration for number 2. I should see active, or I will. I'm going to go to services here. We'll bring the services window up. And I'm going to scroll down to IBM and see if this thing is running. Where is my IBM install? Usually it's installed as IBM. Okay, let's just close this out and reopen services. Maybe it wasn't there on the initial. There it is, IBM Bridge. It says it's running, but it's not showing me active in here. Let's do a refresh. Still not showing that it's active. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do a restart and see if it has any problems restarting. Okay, so it restarted. Let's do a refresh. And it's still not active. Okay, cool. No problem. We'll do a quick troubleshoot. So we'll go into this PC, and we'll go to C:. We'll go to Program Files. We'll go to IBM, and we'll go to Bridge Agent. And right here is the log file, Bridge Agent. So we'll go ahead and open it. And we'll scroll to the bottom and see what's going on. it's given a network error code 200. So what that means typically is it can't get to that. We know that's a public IP, so I know exactly why. So we're going to go back into Azure. Here's our Azure configuration. So most likely the port's not open. So we'll go to networking and see if there's a path. There's no open path, so we'll click create in an inbound port. And we want it on 389 so that our cloud can talk back into the network. So I'm just adding a 389, any source, don't care about any of this. You know, these are firewall rules, so I'm just going to hit add, and it's going to create that rule. And now 389 can, right here, is able to talk back from inbound. So we'll go back to our server. We'll maximize this. Let's see if we do a refresh here. We may have to do a restart. Nothing there. So we'll go to services. We'll go back to restart. May take a minute for those changes to propagate on that firewall 389 port. Maybe not. Okay, we restarted it. Let's do a refresh. There it is. It's active now. Now that we had the port open. So good. We're good to go. Now let's actually see if we can do an authentication. So we'll go ahead and let's go back to Active Directory. And let's create a brand new user right here. We'll do Mike Smith. Okay, M Smith. So Mike Smith, M Smith, next. Simple password. Password. We'll unselect music. You don't have to change your password. We'll click next. And Mike Smith is created. So we'll go over here to our tenant. We'll go ahead and sign out. And we'll return home. And we have sign in another way. Now you can see I got multiple. I had an original Azure. That still works. But I created that number 2 login. So we'll use that. So we'll type Mike. It was M Smith. And we'll do password. And this will let me in. Now I have a policy on the login that requires enrollment MFA. So we probably won't do the enrollment. And there we go. So it's wanting me to set up MFA because I have policy enforcement on. But, you know, that's fine. We can walk through that. I've done it in another video. But that concludes the Active Directory configurations with IBM Verify with the bridge for pass-through authentication. Thank you.